Japan sends 6 warships to the Philippines, but why? Why would they do that? A lot of people linked this video over, so I'm excited to check it out. Come join me, please. Let's go.
In other news, in a bid to counter China's maritime expansion, Japan will export used Navy destroyers to the Philippines.
That's
6
insane, too.
warships equipped with anti-ship missiles and torpedoes will be exported to Manila.
Picture this. You roll out of bed, check the headlines, and bam! Japan drops 6 warships straight into the Philippines' lap. 6 of them. Not fishing trawlers, not cargo carriers. Full-on naval destroyer escorts.
And they do this obviously because they are partnered with Japan, the Philippines as well, for sure. They have like a treaty and everything. But the reality is simple. They're also protecting something that is a part of what they are as well. This kind of gap between them is something that's super valuable that the Philippines basically owns, right? This part of the sea that all of these, what are these called? The cargo ships kind of go through, and they all like produce millions and millions and millions of products just going through in and out. And Japan knows this. Japan knows this with China, with what they're doing and trying to grab a hold of that. They know it's something that is of significance. So on top of that, I also know for a fact that Japan and Philippines are very close allies, just like the US right now as well.
The kind of morning update that makes your coffee feel like rocket fuel. Here's the shocker. This isn't Tokyo tossing hand-me-downs with a pat on the back.
Yeah.
These are Abukuma-class destroyer escorts. Sleek, precision-built machines.
Oh, and there's always submarines that come from them too, right? I think a lot of you guys usually would tell me, a lot of the people in the comments said that if there is a Navy ship, be sure that there is probably a submarine near it. And you guys also told me that submarines can stay under like as long as like 6 months, come up for a little bit. That's insane. That is insane. There's people there, you know, gunning this thing, or not even gunning this thing, but controlling this thing, right? And they have to stay there for so long, but it's something that they've trained to do. So I feel like when I hear that Japan is sending 6 warships to the Philippines, these are also valuable tools that they know the Philippines will use properly, clearly.
Built to sniff out submarines, knock down air threats, and shout loud and clear. Step carefully, Beijing. And the timing couldn't be sharper. The West Philippine Sea is already sizzling. And now you can almost imagine China choking on its green tea. Why should this matter to you? Because we're not talking about hardware alone. We're talking geopolitics supercharged. Japan doesn't hand out warships like free candy at a warehouse store. This is a calculated chess move across the Indo-Pacific board, and the Philippines just leveled up from pawn to rook with teeth.
I think China should already see this as well. Like, Japan is doing this. The US is doing this now for the Philippines. What does this tell you? I feel like China is not even... Either they are being extremely, like, ignorant to the fact that it's too much for them to even attempt at this point. At this point, it'll just be running around in circles, right? Or they're trying to do something like just test how far you would go. There's like multiple things that they could be trying to do, I guess. But all of them lead to the same end goal, which is nothing is going to happen otherwise, unless they take the really bad route and then they, you know, start a war. But even then, they would lose. But that's not the point. I feel like it's just like a pissing battle at that point. Why? You know?
But wait. Before the party starts, here's the twist. Some of these vessels arrive minus their prime weapons. No harpoon missiles. No phalanx close-in guns, unless Washington gives the nod. Think of it like buying a sports car and realizing the turbocharger's missing. Still sleek, still fast, but not the fire-breathing beast you expected. So, the million-dollar question. Is Japan boosting Manila's naval bite, or sending Beijing a message written on steel? That's where it gets exciting. Because in this video, we'll break it down. What these ships can really do, what Japan is signaling, how China's likely to react, And most importantly, what this means for the Philippine Navy's future.
Yeah, it's growing a lot.
Ready? Buckle up. The saga of 6 Japanese warships may be the first chapter in a much larger Indo-Pacific thriller. Here's the bigger picture. Japan isn't only handing over ship keys, it's delivering a playbook, a warning, and maybe even a preview of tomorrow's alliances. So let's zoom out. Why would Japan, long known for keeping military exports on a tight leash, suddenly transfer 6 submarine hunting destroyers to the Philippines? This isn't Tokyo cleaning the garage and tossing leftovers. This is strategic timing written in bold. Japan operates under some of the strictest arms export laws on Earth. Since World War II, their constitution has locked them into a quiet stance. Keep the gear at home, avoid playing arms dealer, and don't stir the waters. But buried in those rules is a key exception. When national security and strategic interest collide, doors open.
Yeah.
And right now, both doors are wide open. China's been muscling through the South China Sea, swarming reefs, blocking supply runs, and acting like the waters belong to them.
Yeah, I've already talked about this multiple times, and I've seen that. It really just kind of like boils my blood, because these people that they're doing it to have nothing to do. Like, they're just doing their job, and then you come there, and then you have like all of these kind of hidden animosities and all this like ideas like, oh, this is our waters. And then you're just like ruining these people's days and ruining their jobs just because of your, what you want, which you can't have. And you're just going to ram yourself into these people. Like, think about that. That's like road rage, and like you're crashing into a guy's car because this road is yours. The guy's like, what, bro? I'm trying to get to work. Like, imagine you're trying to drive to work. A guy slams into you. He's like, hey, man, this is my road. You're like, what? I'm trying to do my job, bro. What are you doing? Like, this is the kind of concept that I don't understand. It's crazy. It's because it's like a hidden agenda kind of thing. It's like you're fighting all these wars in your head, basically. Like, that's kind of what those ships from China are doing. Like, they're fighting their own wars. Like, what are you guys doing? Hello?
Japan's got its own standoff with Beijing over the Senkaku Islands. When Manila feels pressure, Tokyo feels the echo. 2 hot zones, 1 rising shadow. That's why this transfer isn't goodwill. It's alliance building with deterrence attached. Japan is sending a clear message.
I think it's also one can't be strong without the other. It's kind of like Japan and Philippines are already allies. You can't just have an ally and then one like be completely weak. And I'm not saying that the Philippines is weak. I'm saying that they want to make sure that they're stronger than they are already, right? They want to make sure that they're even stronger, because if you can't take both, then it's over, basically.
Philippines, you're on the front line.
Yeah.
We're standing with you.
Wow.
And Beijing, we're watching too. And here's the headline worth circling. This is the single largest transfer of combat-ready Japanese warships to any foreign country in modern times. That's not small print news. That's a billboard screaming, Japan is stepping forward. Of course, some of these ships arrive lighter than full combat spec. No harpoons without Washington's green light, no advanced phalanx guns without clearance. Why? Because this isn't just about firepower. It's about optics, politics, and holding the escalation dial steady.
Yeah.
So, are these ships a gift, a warning, or both?
I'd say both.
The answer? All of the above.
Yeah.
They're tools for Manila, and a message to Beijing that Tokyo is moving pieces across the board. And here's the part that seals it. What these warships can actually do, even without their heaviest punch. Spoiler alert, more than most people realize. All right, let's crack open the hood on these war machines. What exactly do the Abukuma-class destroyer escorts bring to the Philippine Navy's table? Spoiler alert, Even without their flashiest missiles, these vessels are far from floating museum pieces.
Yeah.
Think of them as Swiss Army knives for the ocean. Born in the late 80s and early 90s, they're still battle-ready today. Each comes armed with a 76mm Otto Melara naval
Look at
gun,
the size of that thing,
a
though, bro.
system the Philippine Navy already knows like the back of its hand.
Guys, like, I know for a fact, like, that a lot of people maybe have seen this before, but really stepping back and thinking about the concept that something this large or this massive is able to fire round after round after round with insane. You know how big those bullets probably are? Or those, you know, it's obviously bullets, right? It's like giant bullets. The same thing with like even sniper rifles, like 50 caliber. There's like a whole thing with like the weapons and stuff. And it is scary. Like, don't get me wrong. It's very scary, but it is also super insanely cool to see how insane humans have gotten to a point where we can make weapons this large. I mean, this is the same idea with nukes, right? Nukes are like the scariest thing. You don't want that because then everyone loses, right? But the reality is, it is insane how we kind of come up to like this standard now that everybody got nukes or this and that. And obviously, I watched Oppenheimer, and that was a crazy movie, by the way. Kind of seeing how he felt, the fact that he built it and then hated the fact that he built it. But that's kind of like the sad reality that happens a lot now. You don't want this. You don't want the war to happen, but it still stands. Is China going to make a move that they're going to regret? I mean, they shouldn't, because at the end of the day, they weren't even supposed to originally do this. You know, so even looking at these weapons and seeing it, I'm like, why would you even try it? At this point, there's so many weapons that the Philippines has, that the U.S. has, that China has, that even South Korea is joining in. Why? Why even start?
Translation? No steep ramp up, straight to more firepower in the fight.
He's not wearing Is he wearing earplugs? He's wearing headphones. Is he wearing earplugs? You know how loud that boom, boom. Hello?
Translation? No steep ramp up, straight to more firepower in the fight.
That's
Next
crazy.
comes the underwater punch. These ships pack
Torpedoes?
ASROC launchers
Oh, no.
for anti-submarine rockets, torpedo tubes,
Oh, yeah.
and hull-mounted sonar. If a Chinese submarine slips into Philippine waters, the Abu Kumas are ready with a firm reply. Game over. Radar and search systems also play their part. They may not sit on the cutting edge anymore, but they're proven, durable, and built for upgrades. That's the key. These ships are platforms, solid frames ready for new tech, new weapons, and new missions. Hidden beneath the deck is a gem: propulsion. A mix of diesel and gas turbines, including Rolls-Royce engines licensed
What?
through Kawasaki.
Wait, is it actually Rolls-Royce engines? Tell me the truth. It's not, probably, right? Maybe he's just saying that as like a metaphor, like these are the Rolls-Royce engines, like they are the top of the line kind of engines. But with that being said, I want you guys just to explain to me, what do you think you would do if you were China, right? You already know that you're trying to capture this area, right? That the Philippines is in control over and everything. Yeah. Then you see South Korea, Japan, US, everybody joining forces, aiming at you, basically saying, stop. What is your next move? This is just, you know what I mean? This is just stupid at this point. It really is.
Gives them speed and efficiency. For the Philippine Navy, it's like stepping from a tired sedan into a turbocharged sports car. The ride's sharper, the learning curve is real, and the payoff is massive. Now tally it up. 6 vessels, each able to hunt subs,
6, and they're
watch
giant.
the skies, patrol contested waters, and add depth to a fleet that's been stretched thin. Sure, they're not factory fresh. Sure, some heavy missiles are absent. But with upgrades, new radars, modern sonar, future anti-ship weapons, these Abu Kumas could become the core playmakers of Manila's navy.
And most people think, oh, 6, that's not many. These are humongous, and they come with a lot of other things as well. So it isn't just like just 6 ships, the end. It's 6 ships with this and that. It's a multiple things as well.
And here's the bigger reveal. It isn't only about ships. This deal marks a new chapter in defense ties between Japan and the Philippines, and the ripple effects reach across the entire Indo-Pacific. On paper, 6 ships sound straightforward. Japan transfers, Manila sails, end of story. In reality, this is a tectonic shift. For the Philippines, it's a step change. For decades, the Navy carried an underdog label, aging ships, thin firepower, and a reputation closer to Coast Guard than Blue Water Force. These Abu Kumas flip that script. 6 new hulls in the water, each with teeth, each with potential, each signaling, we're here and we matter. For Japan, this is more than exporting ships. It's exporting influence.
Yeah.
It's stepping into a bold security role in Southeast Asia, something unimaginable not long ago. A nation once sworn off military projection now steps forward with a clear voice. And for China, every radar sweep and sonar ping from these ships will be tracked in Beijing. To them, this isn't 6 vessels. It's 6 signals flashing red.
Yeah.
The South China Sea just...
Like, for example, even looking at that image, look how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look how ginormous these things are. And I know this probably isn't the exact one that they're giving, but the concept applies. Like, look at this ship. It is probably even bigger than this. And if it's not, it's close to it. My point applies. Look how many, right? And they look like, okay, 6, but look how big these things are and what they come with.
Signals flashing red. The South China Sea just got more crowded, and the Dragon knows it. Pushback, patrols, and standoffs. Count on it. But here's the pivot. This is about momentum. If the Philippines modernizes these ships, ties them into US, Japanese, and Australian operations, and invests in doctrine and training, the deal transforms the Navy. Without that, 6 tied-up hulls won't change a thing. So the real question looms, what kind of Navy does Manila want? A reactive patrol force, or a maritime power ready to shape the region's rules? Because once the first Abakuma sails into Manila Bay, the status quo is gone. The world is watching, China is watching, and history is watching. Now, I'll throw it to you. What's your move? Should the Philippines load these vessels with missiles, lean into sub-hunting, or master the training curve first? Drop your take in the comments.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, this video was good, by the way. I really enjoyed that video. All I could say, though, is there is a lot that still has to go into it. I think that the idea that Japan is already helping says enough, even if it's not like quote-unquote modernized. I think it just says enough. I'm not saying don't do anything with it. Of course, you can evolutionize the military just to have that in case of anything, right? Because when I mention that, and then, you know, I kind of say that war is a very, very sad thing. The reality is simple, right? You still need to have that behind you in case of anything else, in case of like crazy things that can happen, not to just go fight and create wars just because, but more so just because it'll protect you as a safety measure, right? With that being said, the Philippines could take this as an opportunity to evolutionize completely their military and do many, many things with it, grow from this. And I feel like the Philippines is already growing. You know, there's other videos that you guys are sending over that are explaining the economic kind of standpoint of the Philippines. And having been to the Philippines myself and, you know, seeing really, really beautiful structurized places in the Philippines, most people wouldn't assume that. Most people would assume that the Philippines is like a village or something, right? And I remember I've spoken to one of my other friends before, and they thought it literally was until I showed them a picture of like BGC and stuff like that. And he's like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, I didn't know that it was like New York evolutionized. I was like, dude, this is the reality, right? Sometimes you have to look at reality and you see it like that. And yes, I did explain to him, there is places of poverty, kind of like there is in the US. There's places like even an hour from me that is extremely like impoverished. And it's really sad. You know, one of my friends was from that area as well. And of course, you know, I would help him and stuff. But the reality is simple. Everywhere needs, you know, help to grow. Everywhere needs some push to keep going, to keep growing. There's many places like that. And so the Philippines, being one of the most beautiful places with some of the most beautiful people and talents, I really believe that the Philippines will grow. And it is growing. So that is the greatest part that I see. And this includes with the Navy and with the warships. I'm sure it will. With that being said, though, I love this video. That was really good. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end.